Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder podcast, episode number 80. We're finally back, and we usually have the shirt number question, and we don't have any shirt numbers up until I think like number 80 something. So instead, I've changed it up. Somebody gave me an idea, and I can't remember who it is to credit them. We're going to change it up today, and I'm going to ask you a question to do with the 1979/80 season.
Remember it well.
It's like it was yesterday. Kieran just dropped the idea there to ask maybe the top goal scorer from said year. So, you're shrugging your arms here,
I said it as a general sweeping statement. I didn't think you were actually going to do it.
Well, I'm going to ask you anyway. Do you think you can name whoever the top scorer was in 1980? Kieran's just straight no.
Connolly?
No, it wasn't Connolly.
I don't know time frames for players.
I get what you mean. I'm the same as well. But the correct answer would be, and if you're an older viewer at home, not to rub in your age, sorry, it's George McCluskey. So there's your answer. George McCluskey in the league. Could you take a guess how many goals in the league that season?
No.
10. Only the 10.
10 goals.
10 goals, and he was the top scorer. Altogether, it was McCluskey and Johnny Doyle tied, to be fair, for 15. But in the league, it was George McCluskey.
Wow.
So there you go, 15 goals. That's what it took back then in the days.
Was defending better then? Or was it just the quality?
Well, I'm looking
less
at
games in a season.
Obviously, Aberdeen won the league that year. Aberdeen were champions, and Celtic scored 61 and conceded 38. Aberdeen only scored 68 goals. How times have changed, eh? Ange would never.
Defence wins championships. Clearly.
Yes, exactly. But welcome back. It's been a while. It's nice to be back. And first of all, before I talk about myself or I talk about Ryan McGinley, a big welcome back to the man at the end of the table, Kieran Auld.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Is it actually a pleasure?
I mean, aye.
Good. I mean, do you want to explain your absence because you were near death?
I've on my deathbed in hospital. I had a wee surgery on the old eye.
Yeah, you've got the scar to show it. You've got the war wounds. No, nobody in the comments to come on, be nice about it.
Give me your best.
it's a war wound for life now. You can always use it that you've been brawling the streets or something.
No.
Aye.
And I never tell anybody the real reason. I just say I got chipped or something.
Nah, you got chipped. That was it. It was after.
Anyway.
It was actually coincidentally it would have been in time with the outing after the last derby after the cup final, innit? So you can always take that. Use your imagination.
You see the other guy. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Talking about the other guy, Ryan McGinley. Hello.
Cheers, lovely segue there, mate. Thanks very much.
How you doing?
Things are good, mate.
Yeah.
Can't complain. Happy to be back. It's been 3 weeks since we've done one of these. Looking forward to talking about Celtic with you guys. Always love it. On a Friday as well.
I like these Saturday morning up. Well, I know this will obviously go up on the Saturday. I like that. I don't know why. I just feel like it goes well. So happy Saturday. Nice to be back.
The replacement for Soccer AM.
Aye, what do you make of that, by the way, off the air?
Get out of them.
It's about fucking time. Anyway, it lost its way years ago.
Good
I want
age.
to know what the
Great age.
I want to know what the ratings would be for something like Soccer AM nowadays.
They must see. I'll be honest with you. If I've been out on a Friday night and I wake up on a Saturday morning and I'm quite hungover and I can't be bothered flicking through for stuff, I will stick it on in the background, but I won't watch it.
That would make me rougher, man.
Watching Jimmy Bullard tongue absolute shite for
It's
an hour.
not even Bullard that's the problem, it's that Fennels. He wears clothes that just do not suit him at all. Stone Island every single week. I'm like, come on,
He's
midlife crisis now.
it really is.
Trying to recapture his youth so desperately. But it's an institution, it's gone, so you replaced it.
I was more of a Dick and Dom person when I was younger rather than Soccer AM, so...
Right. Would you prefer Dick or Dom?
Wow. Is this past 9 o'clock?
This is the watershed. It's so early in the morning. And before we start talking about Celtic, I want to quickly address something as well. I am excommunicado, as they would say in the John Wick franchise. I'm gone. Don't worry, I'm not dead, as you can quite clearly see. I'm off Twitter, and I don't know when I'll be back. So don't try and tweet me. Don't try and ask me if I've seen anything on Twitter, because I've not. I've been locked out my account. because someone from Hong Kong decided they would like to try and take my account for whatever reason, and I can't get back in because Elon Musk is a wanker, to put it quite bluntly. So I don't know when I'll get back.
See when you were just introducing that there and you're talking about, like, I was like, are you going to mention the fact that you're locked out your account? Because you were talking as if I'm away off social media, no replies.
I'm gone, I've gave it up, I hate it. So I'm having a bit of a social media detox in a sense with the no Twitter.
Not by choice.
Not by choice, by force. And for you guys, it's probably for the best. Anyway, there's your news update. Kieran's alive. Ryan and I am excommunicado. So, but the main thing is Celtic is back after a 2-week international break. We're finally back. We take on Ross County this weekend in what is now the final stretch, Ryan McGinley, from now till the end of the season. We'll talk specifically about the game in a few moments, but this is it now. You know, it's just to get the job done, get it over the line, and enjoy these last few weeks before the summer break.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say it's the business end of the season, but I feel like all of the season's a business end. The way the league goes, you can't really be dropping any points. Celtic haven't really done that through the course of the season. Only dropped points, twice in the league?
Yep.
The rest have been wins. We're doing really well. This is obviously the really important time. We've seen last season, I think some of our best football was played in the last third of the season.
Yep.
You think of the games against St Johnstone, Hearts, etc. You get the Rangers game as well. I'm just looking forward to these fixtures ahead, starting on Sunday, and I'm sure the team are well equipped to handle whatever's thrown in front of them. Yeah,
Kieran, I think that obviously for the longest time, we've been 9 points clear since the World Cup, and with that has come a bit of a comfort, a bit of an advantage in the sense that, you know, we've been able to not so much relax, but I think the fans have been certainly more relaxed. But I think before that international break there, I think we've seen that, you know, there is still work to be done. This isn't cruise until the end now, because basically every game at the end of the last break of games, we went behind in quite a bit of them, and it was hard, and, you know, we had to dig deep, and we showed that there still is games to win and a job to be done. We don't want to go to Ibrox any lesser than 9 points clear. So Ross County and every other game is a must win.
I mean, because you've seen the Hibs game before. I mean, we were 1-0 down, but at the same time, I still had the belief in the back of my head that we're going to come back for this. I mean, even though at half time you're gone in, we were 1-0 down at half time still, weren't we?
Yeah.
Because the penalty was second half.
That's right.
But, I mean, going into that, as much as you're raging in that, no raging, but you're just a bit miffed that we're behind at home against them and things weren't going swimmingly, exactly. But you still had the confidence, but as you were talking about, you're into the last 9 games of the season now. So every game is massive, like, regardless of the opposition right now. I mean, we'll obviously get a clearer picture of what the top 6 is going to look like, because you've got big games at the weekend with Livy and St Mirren. If it's going to be a home tie against St Mirren or a trip to the Tony Macaroni. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. See, just being back for international football, it's just, as we were talking about before we came on the podcast, people have absolutely lost their heat on Twitter, just in general, no Celtic fans in general, but just, like, I know, Ryan, we just need to tell you the tales of what's going on in the old internet, but nah, just, I can't be arsed with the debates and that going on, like, just get the football back.
What's been the big debate this time, Ron?
No, it's like,
what have we had?
You know, like, every 2 seconds you see a tweet, what is your such and such opinion that has you like this, and you've got other fans of teams like Hearts and that saying the one I seen the day was I think it was an Aberdeen fan talking about how boring it would be to be a Celtic or Rangers fan. I'm like, give me fucking strength.
You guys bored?
No, I've not been bored.
That's got to be the laziest argument, like, I think, in Scottish football, to say, oh, you must get bored of winning the league. I'm like, I don't think you understand the concept of winning the league. It's not something you get tired of. It's a good feeling. It's just annoys me. I don't know if it's a comfort blanket for supporters of teams like that, but pisses me off.
There was a tweet that I seen as well, and it was I don't know if it was a Hearts fan or whatever, that was saying that they're overperforming. Teams like Hearts and Aberdeen are overperforming. I'm like, no, you get the third biggest budget in the league.
Yeah.
Yous are there. Yous are where yous are supposed to be.
Yeah.
You'd be overperforming if you were second or challenging.
Yep. If anything, I would argue this season
weird inferiority complex from the
You know, I didn't realise how far behind Hearts were behind Rangers. Like,
that's miles. Like, and there was a point back in the World Cup sort of time where, you know, I think they were actually reasonably close to them, and yet overperforming.
Celtic and Rangers have been on pretty immaculate form in the league, to be fair. But
it's the knee-jerk reaction when these teams' fans don't get things their way and they don't get trophies, it just, it's the easy way out. As you said, the comfort blanket.
I felt like there was a time where Hearts were like comfortably clear of everybody in third, and a string of bad results has left them only like 3 or 4 points clear of Aberdeen, I think.
Questioning Robbie Nielsen's place as manager.
I think he's a dreadful manager, I'll be honest.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Hearts don't have a style of play. Hearts just have better players than the rest of the teams in the league.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that.
You look at it, they've won 13 games this season, I think I checked, and they've lost 10 or something.
It's crazy how, like, it's easy to paint this picture in your head that they're clear third place, like contenders, but they really no. Like, they're really not.
The Hibs not like 5 points behind.
I don't
them
know
or
that far
like
behind them at this point, I think.
Yeah, let's stop talking about Hearts.
I know.
This is turned into
I know.
TSF.
I know what's going on here. This is, we're playing Ross County this weekend. Talking about Ross County, it is the first game back for Celtic. We better talk about it. I've not seen any Ross County fans complaining much recently, but a tough game for them, obviously, and even a tough game for us. Ross County are a side that have made things difficult in recent times for Ange Postecoglou's side, and they've strung together a decent couple of results heading into the point they're at and going into this break. I think they ended off with a couple of losses, but beforehand they'd beaten Dundee United 4-0. They were not bad against Rangers at Ibrox. They got a draw against Hibs, beat Kilmarnock 3-0. So a couple of good results in their last few games, as they obviously fight it out at the bottom of the table, but that makes it a game that Celtic should be winning, Kieran. I mean, you want to start back with a bang.
You've got to come out and make a statement for these last 9 games. You want to hopefully go up there and put in a really good performance, but I just hate it this time of the season because you're playing teams that are got everything to fight for to stay in the division and that, so it's like we've got everything to fight for to win the league, but they're in a dogfight, really. I mean, they're pretty, I think they should be fine to no finish rock bottom.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I think Dundee United could be pretty much doomed, to be honest. But I mean, because Ross County beat them 4-0, I think it was
4-0.
Like a couple of games before the end of
I think it was
before
the third last game before the break.
So it's like, I just hate coming up against teams like this at this point. I mean, you've got the faith in Celtic to go out and put in the performance, but it's just like you remember games when we went up to Dingwall and we drew 2 each back in the Invincible season, and that Schalke dive for the penalty.
Still raging about
I like to bring that up to my pal Robbie and Uni, who supports County. Diving bastard.
Robbie's a diving bastard as well.
He's that Schalke's at Red Diamonds. Remember the team?
I seen that the other day. You're all Red Diamonds.
I never knew that. So lovely. Schalke's are Giacomakis.
Schalke.
Aye.
I'm not going to go that far about Yakin. I'm not his biggest fan, but I wouldn't say that.
Oh, Christ almighty, bitter are we? Ryan, obviously last season we had the dramatic Ralston winner. Let's avoid all of that. Let's just get the job done, I would say.
I hope this is really comfortable. That isn't controversial to say that, I don't think, but
no, I wouldn't say so.
I think everybody wants it to be very comfortable. I don't think that's very controversial.
I would imagine so. Comfortable.
I just want this to be a walk in the park, to be honest.
Yeah.
The real main event's next weekend. I know we can't take our eyes off.
But that's
the game
another reason we need a good performance and a good win here, isn't it? Take that into the derby.
Yeah, because you'd expect Rangers to beat Dundee United at home. You'd think that'd be a cakewalk for them, actually. But you never know, stranger things have happened. But I'm not holding out any hope for Goodwin or Dundee United. It's not a plastic pitch, which is great. It's a tight pitch, but it's not a plastic pitch. It should suit us. We've got the players to hurt Ross County. You would expect us going there to go and win comfortably. Hopefully no problems. We'll get back down the road and let's get focused for the next week.
Yeah, so let's talk about Ange Postecoglou and his press conference this afternoon. The team news returning back from the international break. Of course, during the international break, we've seen a few names return from their planned trips. Dyson Maeda came back early. Anthony Ralston came back early. Aaron Moy had a bit of a knock as well. So we've had some news. Ange Postecoglou's quotes from this afternoon was Ralston and Abada have picked up injuries in camp, so probably miss a couple of weeks. James Forrest is still out for a little bit of time, and the other two are Aaron Moy and Tomoki Iwata, who have stayed with us, and they are touch and go for the weekend. We don't see them being too far away.
I think he's got Iwata and Hatate mixed up.
I think that's what I was going to bring up. So there's been a lot of other conversation online because he spoke to Sky saying that, but then in the press conference he said something else apparently.
Yeah, he said in the Sky one he said it was Iwata, but Iwata's been training all week. And the actual Celtic FC presser, he was saying that it was Hatate that was touch and go for the game. It was Hatate and Moy, so they're 50-50. He's going to check and see they're going to get tested tomorrow, and
Yeah.
then they'll see what Sunday brings.
So if we are correct, if we're taking this assumption that Ange has had a slip of the tongue moment and got it wrong, which he rarely does, but in this occasion,
Feel kind of dirty saying that.
I know, it doesn't feel right saying Ange got something wrong. Is this a big opportunity then this weekend, Kieran, for Tomoki Iwata maybe to come into the team if Hatate and Moy are touch and go? Is it as simple as saying this could be the start for him?
I think it could be, to be honest. I mean, he's been looking for the opportunities. He's had cameo appearances since he's arrived in January. Fans have wanted to get a glimpse of like getting him a start, but I mean, you didn't want to just throw him into. There's been a lot of big games, so you can't just throw a player in for the sake of trying to bed them in. Like he's had his chances in the Scottish Cup games and that, etc. But I think it would be good to see him get a start. I mean, I hope to God he doesn't just throw Turnbull in instead, and or this talk's been for nothing.
Aye.
But I mean, I think hopefully he does get to show what he can do. And I mean, I've not really seen too much of him, to be honest. I've never seen the Morton game around where he
We were obviously 9.
did he get 45 minutes that day?
Yeah, he came on at half time for
Yeah.
McGregor.
So I can't really speak for the sort of player he is or whatever, like, because I mean he's been short appearances when he has came off the bench and that as well. So I don't know if he's got to exactly plug that Hatate role in the midfield or what he's. I mean, I feel like McGinley's probably a lot more clued up on the actual tactical
You've
side.
been
of it.
choking for him to come in. Do you think he's
I've
a
been
good?
impressed every time he's
Yeah.
come on the park. It's just his distribution from that defensive midfielder role. He's quick. Everything he does is with precision. I was impressed with him after that first pass against Rangers in the League Cup final. He composed himself because I think he just looked hyper and he was desperate to come on and make an impact. The pass went out of play, but apart from that, he was quite dominating in that midfield, which was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Then he had a tackle against Hearts. I remember he came on at was it Tynecastle? He came on.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a tackle. He just got all the ball and the player just went flying. It was like, this is the missing link. I get excited over players quite easily. I'm quite excitable, especially when it comes to holding midfielders, because I think that's so important for us to have a player like that. But he just looks like the perfect fit. He's like a bigger Hatate or a more defensive to Hatate, which does excite me greatly. I do want to see more of him, and hopefully that's tomorrow. I think if there's any game to throw him in, it's this one tomorrow.
It would make sense. I like him as well from the very limited times we've got to see him so far. The thing I just love, and I've been banging on about this since the day Ange came in, I just love the opportunity for McGregor to move up the park. And with Iwata being on the park, that allows that to happen. That's not a knock on what McGregor's done phenomenal sitting in that role that he's played in. And I'm not saying he needs to move, but I just love McGregor being further forward. And it's not as if we're doing it to bring in somebody like James McCarthy who's just there for a reason. We're bringing in somebody who is looking quite good, and he needs that time to kind of familiarise himself and be ready with the team. So I hope he does get the start tomorrow. I think it'd be huge for him, on a confidence level especially, just to get the minutes under his belt, play away from Celtic Park again. I think it's just all positives getting him in that team.
See, just quickly, I think Ange has been wanting Iwata. I think Iwata has been the number one target for a couple of years for Ange when it comes to Celtic. He was the one that brought him into Yokohama. He knows how good he is. He had that sort of breakout season last season. But it seems as if with McCarthy, with Abildgaard, with Adeguchi to a lesser extent, even though I don't think he was a number 6, it seems as if we've been trying to plug that gap, but now Ange has got the player that he wants and fits into the team, and he's just waiting for that opportunity for him to fling him into the action. And I think it's going to get to the point where if he comes in and has a good performance, he's right in there for next week.
Yeah.
If he has a good performance, I don't think you can drop him.
So one of the things, Keane, we keep talking about in this podcast is just the very fortunate position we're in, because we can sit here and have a conversation about missing 2 of our best players this season, Aaron Moy and Ryo Hatate, and yet it's all positive.
I think it's a testament to the recruitment under Ange, to be honest,
Which
because
is only getting better. We'll come on to that, but
like, I just think if this a couple of seasons ago, gone at that, even but before a couple of seasons ago, I don't think the recruitment was we had signed decent players, but no, I don't think we've had as good a squad depth as we've got right now. Because see the day when I was seeing like that press conference with all the people injured, I'm sitting there, I'm like, fuck me, and then I'm like, wait, Tomoki Iwata. So I'm
set
like,
yourself up well.
So I'm like, thank fuck, but at the same time, it's just. As we were talking about, like, the recruitment has been top notch under Ange, and I mean, how much did we pick up Iwata for?
Something like 800k or something.
I think
like
it's
that.
something
Was
like
it less than $1 million?
I'll tell you right now.
J-League player of the year.
Well, the record reported it was a fee of £830,000.
That's going to get activated. It's a loan just now, but it's an obligation one. It's for the financials, but to get the reigning
I hope
player of the
to
year.
Christ that we don't. Every fucking stream in this. I remember last year with Maida when he was here. Every stream podcast. Do you think we'll sign Maida? Yes, we've got to. It's an obligation for a
That's what
fucking
obligation
region.
means,
Yeah,
guys.
but I think there's going to be as much talk about that because a lot
I
has
think
not really been in the team. But
aye.
with Maeda, you got sort of thrown in like straight away.
Aye. And I think people have hopefully figured out what obligation means by now as well.
I'd like to think so.
Aye, I'd like to think so. But as well, Kieran, on that note, talking about players being out and players coming in, another opportunity for maybe Sead Haksabanovic this weekend as Maida might be out. He obviously ended the break in another great fashion, similar to he did the World Cup. This time, hopefully, if he gets a chance, he continues it rather than being hampered by injuries and other issues.
I think he will be. I think he will be starting, to be fair, because I mean Maeda came back early for Japan. That was that a knee injury he had.
It was something in
And
his
then
leg.
He wasn't
That's a
training
good
today,
guess.
Maeda.
Because I think he quoted in the Japanese media that he wanted to come back and prepare himself for like the derby. I think he wants to be fit for that, so it would make sense.
I don't think any
out.
unnecessary risks will be taken this weekend. See what Anne's saying about Hatate being touch and go. Same with Moy, they're not going to get rest on Sunday unless it was absolutely necessary. But as we said, it's no absolutely necessary to throw them back in. So I think they're going to have time to recover. But I think you'll be. I suppose we'll go into the lineups after this. But I mean, I think it will be Haksabanovic starters. He loves a wee culling effort, doesn't he, man?
He's just he's
Finesse.
a master. It's like watching somebody, I don't know, hit the golf ball with a driver. Just
He's got the finesse trait on, man.
He's aesthetically pleasing on the eye, I would
Aye.
say. Just the way he plays.
well, I use driver. I'm more like, I don't know, like a 9-iron or something. Just a nice.
Like a sandwich.
Something just nice, innit? It's just beautiful the way he curls. I mean, he's my favourite player for a reason. I just think he does everything.
Stick to the
with
football.
listen.
Starting to sound like you and Murray here.
Have you
We'll
seen that?
preview the Masters next week.
Have you seen they've added John Cena to the new PGA Tour game?
Surely not.
Aye, they've added him, Steph Curry, and Michael Jordan. You shaking your head at it?
To be fair, they did add weird characters in the old Tiger Woods PG Tour
Aye,
game.
so geez, mind your neck. It's a bit
I'm just
fun.
the thing in my head. I still can't get over that invisible John Cena.
Super Cena. Aye.
Yeah, Super Cena. I love that. I was just imagining that in a golf
You
sort
can
of
tell
scenario.
you can tell it's mania weekend. Right. Any final thoughts on the game itself and how we approach it, anything like this? I mean, how many games out of the season now? We're actually it's mad that this is the 30th game of the season. This is it's only 3 games until the split now. So I feel like everything that we would normally say has been said to death before the game's in.
I mean, you're at the point now, like, you know how teams are going to set up against you, especially on a small part. They're going to set up to frustrate, try and take their chances on the counter. We just need to be alert. And I don't think any of the players are going to turn up expecting to win. I don't think Ange's going to allow that, especially with 9 games left to go in the season. They all know what's at stake. They know what they need to do. And you just need to hope that they can go out and do it.
Would there be some laugh if, like, somehow next year, like, the PFL came out with some law that you're now barred from playing 10 men behind the ball against Celtic and Rangers?
block.
We just had to see some, like, expansive football played against us. That'd be great.
Get Law out to pull the strings and make that happen.
Oh, of course, because he's an insider, isn't he? He's part of the SPFL mafia.
Part of the Matrix.
Yeah, part of the Matrix. Right, so team predictions then, we'll go through it. In goals, Joe Hart.
Joe Hart.
Of course. Back 4, is it going to be the standard, Kieran?
Aye.
Aye. So, Johnston.
Greg Taylor's back, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. No
Carter
talk of...
Vickers as well.
Yeah, because there was
Aye.
no talk of them at the presser today as if they wouldn't be...
I thought I seen them saying Greg Taylor was available again or something.
Aye. So, I think that should be
Aye,
pretty
I think standard back 4. Taylor, Starfelt, Carter Vickers and Alistair Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
So, if we have a Wata starting tomorrow, are we all in agreement of that? Do you think we will?
Yeah.
I think it is his chance. I think it's his
Okay, so all 3 of us are starting Wata.
I think he would get more of a chance if he wasn't injured in the Hibs game. I think, because obviously Hatate get brought off early doors.
That's true.
I think he would have been brought on for Hatate.
That's a good point. But he didn't,
I'm-
obviously.
No, he didn't,
But who do you think will join him tomorrow night?
McGregor and O'Reilly.
Aye. So I think it picks itself, really, doesn't
Which is
it?
great at this point in the season.
Yeah, but when you've got players out to say that there's a team that picks itself, and it's still, I mean, 2 great players, like, you can't complain. And then front 3, we'll start with Kieran, you can go. Who's on the right?
I'm trying to think who would put on the right, but
Jota?
Jota.
I think so.
Aye.
Then obviously Haxan.
On the left, and then Kyogo. I think that would be the team.
It's a good team.
I think there's only one position to pick really here, and that's on left wing, because I think Jota and Kyogo are absolute certainties to play. So I would say Haksabanovic as well.
Yeah.
Because he's had game time for Montenegro as well. He's played like a total of what?
Aye.
Did he not come off at half time?
He did, and then he played 70 minutes
did he?
in the next game. So
What's
I think
that
they're
about?
just sort of watching his fitness. But he was playing in midfield for the 2 games as well.
Aye.
So, I mean, that's another sort of thing. He could play as a number 10 as well, if needed.
Yeah, I feel like you've seen him, even when he's been brought on in games to play on the wing, you see him drifting into the
He
middle.
loves it, doesn't he?
I think it's just a wee bit of free rein to just like get in,
Aye.
find the space, but no, he's a cracking player.
He reminds me of like a street version of El Yunusi. Because if he's lack of pace, but he's got skill and he's got a good shot on him as well.
I get that.
I thought you meant street as in like rougher because of the beard.
It's just when people say, you know, how when people
White
say
Rooney
this,
streets dry.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
when people
Getting a
say,
bit in
"Oh,
the beanies."
streets,
The baggy jeans.
streets won't ever forget Tarapt or Ben Arthur,"
Aye.
he's that sort of. I just like his industry and his grit that
His
he's
industry?
got.
What industry is he in?
I don't know.
Mining
He's
or
in the
something?
ballers industry,
Aye.
clearly, because I'm a big fan as well.
Talk about Montenegro. We'll be there, Kieran, in the summer. I'm
Wow.
going to have to get a Montenegro shirt with hacks on the back. Like, it's got to be
That is a
done.
pilgrimage.
I
for
can't
you.
imagine
Aye, that is,
See in my head, I just can't imagine the Montenegro shirt being nice. Like,
No, it's
I
definitely
feel like it's
a
a Joma number.
there's a company in my head and I can't remember the name yet, but there's definitely a company in my head that I just, who is
Oh my
it?
God, that's an absolute.
Oh Jesus,
Oh no,
Jory.
it's like a hot.
Right.
It's like a hot sauce.
I'm sorry, hacks, but I'll be passing. It's made by a company called Legia, not like Legia Warsaw. That is.
That looks Russian. That looks Soviet.
Well, it was towards that direction,
aye.
wasn't it? So, I can see that. Wow. Like, maybe I won't be hacks.
No, you can't go back in your word.
How much
looks
did
like-
it?
that looks
That's like cheap, to be fair.
That evidently why. You
Yeah,
can see
well,
why.
aye,
Wait,
true.
where's the proper one? Because this is just on
think
These are
UK soccer.
concepts.
Oh, the
they
concept. This is the real one here. That's the real one with the players wearing it. It's just dead.
Aye.
5-a-side, your dad's team. He's went to DW to pick up
They saved up the vouchers to get him for the Daily Record.
If you don't know what we're talking about, Google the Montenegro home shirt and you'll see. Right, score predictions.
Because they're ugly.
Aye, true. Score predictions.
5-0.
Oh, God, starting high.
Said it in another podcast. I cannot deviate.
Okay, right. Kieran.
2-0.
2-0. I was going to go 2-0 as well. It's quite boring, but
I know.
that's what I was going to say.
I just clean sheet, professional
Up the road.
performance.
Up the road. Aye,
Down
that's
the
what I
road.
want. Right, there we go. Ross County, that's our first game back, ladies and gents. I'm looking forward to it. Right, okay, it's time for the half-time quiz today. And it's obviously the aptly named Ryan gave us Craig McGinley, Kieran Oldtay. And it's going to be Kieran Old versus Ryan McGinley today in the one where he's kind of work the giver in a sense.
So you need to stop saying verses then, because this seems
No,
like a fucking team
but
game.
this is what
It's
actually
a
I keep
cooperative.
forgetting. There's that
It's like
many.
Spec Ops.
There's that many mini games now that I forget what
I know,
ones
we're
you've got.
losing
No,
track, man.
it's the one with the wee person. That
Tenable?
That's the one you work together.
What is this then?
So this is
With
the
the wee
one
guy.
where you like freeze yourself. What are you laughing at?
The wee guy.
What am I saying?
Yeah, you doing slagging my fellow wee guy?
You say that, no me.
That's true.
So this is the one where you can freeze yourself. It's the one where I give you a clue at a time, and if you get it wrong, you're frozen for the next clue. Sort of thing, right? So we've got the player today, and you're going to have 5 clues to try and see who it is. So are you ready?
Yep.
Viewers at home, I hope you're ready. Today's is an absolute screamer. So, first clue. I have been managed by David Moyes, Martin O'Neill, and Gary Bauer. Or Boyer, however you pronounce it. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Bauer, Boyer, shite jobby. So that's your first clue. I'm assuming that none of you will get it or want to freeze yourselves out.
Who was the
after
first manager again?
David Moyes, Martin O'Neill, and Gary Bauer. Boyer. I'm not saying his name again. None, any idea? Any thoughts in the head? These don't need to say it, but have you got any names now?
Just thinking Moyes with Everton.
Right. None of these want
What's
to
that?
take. None of these want to take a guess. Okay.
Don't want to get frozen. So
Clue number 2. I have played with Fraser Fivey, Daniel James, and Aidan McGeady. So that's the second clue. Managed by David Moyes, Martin O'Neill, and Gary Bowyer, and played with Fraser Fivey, Dan James, and Aidan McGeady.
Who's Gary Bowyer again?
Gary Bowyer was.
Dundee manager just now.
Is he? Wow, didn't even realise that.
Dundee, not Dundee United. I hear that Michael Beale's getting them mixed up. He
Is
was
he?
saying he's playing Dundee tomorrow.
Ah.
I don't remember.
So, if you're not familiar with Gary Bowyer, I'll give you his managerial career. Blackburn Rovers, Blackpool, Bradford City, Salford City, and Dundee. So that's his career thus far.
I get Gary Bowyer and Gary Rowett mixed up.
Oh, aye.
'Cause I was thinking Birmingham.
Rowett's all sorts, or whatever they're called. That's Rowans, isn't it? I'm wrong. Sorry, my bad. If you still not got it, third
awful.
clue. He's wanting the third clue.
Yeah.
Aye, right, third clue. I have only played football in England and Scotland.
I was getting that vibe.
Aye, I've only played football in England and Scotland. So to run down the first three clues again: David Moyes, Martin O'Neill, and Gary Bowyer's managers. Fraser Fivey, Daniel James, and Aidan McGeady, and only played in England and Scotland.
Dan James. It's fairly recent. Played for Swansea. Played for.
I'm never getting that.
You still like Kieran's no guessing yet. McGinley, I'm
No,
assuming.
no,
Right,
no.
okay. Clue 4.
Aye.
He's a wanting clue 4. Clue 4. I never won a Glasgow derby during my time at Celtic. Never won a Glasgow derby. And you've only got one more clue
Trying to think of the time frame.
after this.
David Moyes.
I'm trying to think in my head when Moyes would have managed them.
Thinking West Ham or
I'm not going to say anything, obviously.
Sunderland.
You've got one more clue after this.
I'm gonna need the fifth clue here.
He's needing the fifth. I played the fifth.
I was going to say that.
Fifth clue is finally my only major honour at Celtic was a cup. Oh, well, sorry. I've read that wrong, but it's still the same. My only major honour was a cup that came at Celtic. Whilst I was signed to only one season, the major honour I won came from the season prior.
Right, okay.
So, you can think and shout if you know it, but I'm going to run through the clues. I've been managed by David Moyes, Martin O'Neill, and Gary Bowyer. I have played with Fraser Fivey, Daniel James, and Aidan McGeady. I've only played my football in both England and Scotland. I never won a Glasgow derby with my time at Celtic, and the only major cup that I've won was at Celtic. Whilst I signed only one season, the major honour I
Shane
won.
Duffy.
Yes!
I was going to say Shane Duffy.
Managed by
Oh,
Martin O'Neill
well
in
done.
Ireland. I didn't know about when he played with Dan James, but
Fulham this season.
oh fuck,
Yeah.
Why is it full?
I didn't even know. Is it film? That was, I think it's pure throwing me
Fulham
off.
this
There's a
season.
deadline day signing, I'm sure.
When
as
did he
well.
play with Fraser Fivey?
Blackburn maybe? Was Fraser Fivey at Blackburn back in the day?
Did he not get an early move early on
I
in
think
his
down to
career?
Blackburn or
after
something like that.
Aberdeen, aye.
So, managed by David Moyes.
I was thinking Duffy on the last
When
one. I
was
was
he
like,
managed
he's
by
another.
Moyes? This is one I can't figure out. When was he managed by Moisey? That's what I can't think.
Is he not at Everton?
Where's
At
Shane
the
Duffy?
start of his career, aye.
Was he?
I'm sure he was.
Shane,
before
that's
he went
news to me. It's alright, Ryan. I've got it here. Don't worry, son. Shane Duffy was at Everton. Made 5 appearances. Never knew that.
Thought that
So-
because of the only
Yeah,
manager, because
yeah,
he get his
Christ.
loan cut.
Aye, so
Shot.
David
Didn't win
Moyes
anything.
at Everton, Martin O'Neill with Ireland, Gary Bowyer at Blackburn, played with Fraser Fivey, assuming at Blackburn, might not be. Dan James at Fulham, Aidan McGeady with Ireland, played England and Scotland, obviously. Never won a Glasgow derby. We don't want to think about the season, and won the Scottish Cup. Obviously, was involved in the squad in the final. Well done, Kieran. Shane Duffy, good answer.
I think he was the second.
Why oh why did we have to have Shane Duffy on today's podcast?
I think he's the second worst signing in Scottish football history.
Who's the first?
Aaron Ramsey.
Ah.
He lost in a final.
The fanfare around him as well, to be fair.
Aye, but then they'll play. Shane lost his to 10. So.
Got his Angelo, didn't he? So
Aye,
he helped
well.
us in that.
Right, okie doke. Let's.
That's the way I'm seeing it anyway.
Agent Duffy.
Aye, Agent Duffy.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
Thank you, Shane.
Play the clown music. Dun, 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 dun,
That
dun.
video was hilarious.
It's unbelievable. Right, okay. A couple of wee topics. And there's not much to talk about, obviously, with the return of his comeback. It's been quiet anyway, but a couple of wee things. Let's start with Aidan Borland, apparently off. Another young talent set to be poached by a Premier League side. Kieran, did you write an article on
I
this?
wrote an article
so
about it
let's
yesterday.
sum it up
I mean,
first.
I've wrote a couple of articles on this topic before because, I mean, it's a bit of a trend where, like, Celtic just can't compete with what's on offer down south, which I can understand, like, in terms of the money that we're getting offered. You look at the facilities of certain clubs down there. I mean, we've got good facilities up here, but, I mean, it can't compare to, like, even, like, lower teams in the Premier League, like, the money they've got behind them. We've lost players like Liam Morrison and Barry Hepburn to Bayern Munich here the past few years. Caramo and Dembele we never lost, but that was sort of just let his contract run down. He went to Brest in Ligue 1. Even we had an Irish goalkeeper that went to Liverpool a few years ago, and then Ben Doak's the obvious one. So it is a bit of a trend where we're getting a promising talent snatched away from us before it can even get to a chance of playing in the first team. But you also need to think, are these players leaving because there's no clear progression to first team football? And I think that is probably the reason, because I mean,
we've been through it numerous times.
Even under Ange, I feel like there's no chances granted. I mean, Ben Doak started getting a couple of games here and there, but I don't know if that was just, I mean, he was obviously, people out there seeing like something in him, but I think they would have obviously known about the noise and that around teams like Liverpool sniffing about him, were the appearances just to try and show him like this is what you could have here. But I don't know, I think youth players are probably within their right if they think, I'm not going to develop here playing B team games in the Lowland League. I want to go down south and get a crack at it, because you look at players like Billy Gilmore, who at the time when he left Rangers, everybody's like, he's going to fucking fade away into the Chelsea Academy. Granted, his career's not gone perfectly now, but there was a time where it was looking like he was going to be a regular starter for Chelsea.
Yep.
And lockdown hit and
kind of scuffed it a wee bit.
It kind of fucked up a wee bit.
Do you think so?
I think he'll go in the summer. Aye.
Really?
He's on loan. Aye.
Oh, fair enough.
But I don't know. In terms of like youth, I don't know what the answer is to it, because you're at the point where if they're good enough, they'd be getting a chance.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the part of the problem, is the fact that it is one in every God knows how many that are good enough, and then obviously they just don't have the amount of faith to take the plunge in them because of that.
I mean, we've had the success story with KT.
Yeah.
Like the £25 million, that itself paid for Lennoxtown. Like the money if they hit that transfer alone. But then you've got the success stories of Callum McGregor, James Forrest, obviously.
Yep.
The contribution he's had to Celtic over his career.
Mad how little that is though in the past decade, how many players there is to pick from.
You could maybe go Anthony Ralston and Stephen Welsh now, but even then they're no regular starters, they're just squad players. So you're looking at the amount that we're bringing through the academy. We're losing good players. You're looking at Ben Doak, he's going to likely become a brilliant player down south. I think when you've got a level of that talent, it does get taken away from you, but it's just frustrating that we can't bring more of the talent through. But it is the question, are they good enough?
Aye.
We went and watched the B team play. I think there's a couple of players in there, a couple of boys, Mackenzie Carr.
Is it Dawson that's picked up that he's out for the next
injury?
year?
He's been excellent goal scoring for him. You've seen him at St Johnstone when it went down to 500 fans during that wee circuit breaker lockdown. But then you've got, I think Mackenzie Carr's just got like a new contract there, 3-year extension. So you've got players like him, Summers, he was on the bench against
Davidson
against Hibs. So you're looking at these players and you think they're decent, but is there going to be, like, you're looking at the players like Iwata we just signed and the lack of chances he's been getting. Yeah. Where do the youth players fit into this?
Very little chances, isn't there?
I don't think you can do it for the sake of it.
I know. If you're good enough, you get played. So that's
it's hard because as fans, we're in a position where you'll get fans who complain there's not enough coming through, but then the same fans who complain we're not going to spend money on players. So where do you find the balance in that? Do you give up signing players to give these guys chances?
Not, because there's better options out there that we're more than likely going to spend 2 million, 3 million on a youngster that's at the top of their class and somebody else's team.
I look at somebody like Abada, 19 years of age.
Absolutely.
We spent £3 million on him, say, and he's came in and he's more than made up for that £3 million. Are any of the players in our youth system right now worth £3 million and worth in the same ability as Abada? Probably not. And that's not me being harsh on him. I want all these guys to succeed, but there's a reason why we sign an Abada and we don't give somebody else a chance.
The fee reported for that Aiden Boland for 15 years old, it's like 320 grand, I think. Really? I've seen could rise to £1.2 million.
1.2, aye.
That was on Football Insider, to be fair, so I don't really know there.
Oh jeez.
Tati's already away according to them, so
according to Football Insider,
quiet start
Neil
last
Lennon
season.
was keeping his job and all the rest of it, so he's still there.
Pinch of salt with them. But I think the point that I was going to make is the league that we're in, it's very unforgiving when it comes to young players because there's so much pressure every week. And then if you throw a youth player in and he doesn't do well, then people will be like, "Oh, why didn't you play the senior player?"
Aye.
We don't operate in a league like Ajax do in the Eredivisie where it's acceptable to put young players in like that. I think our best sort of bet would be to try and loan them out to other teams in the Premiership. But
I mean, you've got Adam Montgomery out on loan, like he's at St Johnstone still, isn't he? I mean, he went to Aberdeen, didn't he? Well, I think he got sacked. Stephen Glass got sacked, and he never got a game after that, to be fair. But I don't know, because you don't know what to do because you want to see youth players coming through the club, but as fans we're very impatient and we want them to come in and hit the ground running straight away, but young players take time to adapt in that, and Celtic have got no time for passengers, you know. So you need to come in and prove that you deserve to be in the starting 11. So I think there's a big pressure on them, but I think they've got to believe in themselves to be able to come in and make an impact.
Those players need a huge slice of luck as well. You look
Oh,
at even the
yeah,
example, Kieran Tierney
Tierney
wasn't.
got a huge slice of luck.
Aye, that's
He did.
it's an incredible story
Aye.
of how he got in. It was Izagiri was
Because
injured, and
if
somebody else was injured.
Izagiri and that weren't fit or were fit, when would his chance have come? And then you're talking about there was a change of manager months later with Ronnie Dyler going out the door and Rodgers coming in. Would Rodgers have given him the chance?
I know.
It's a crazy story.
I mean,
And that's
I'm trying to
sometimes
think
it's
about
right
timing.
place, right time.
Try to think back under Rodgers, because even when he did give young players a chance, it was like, I remember when Ralston and Johnson came on. I don't know if that was both of their debuts, and
Could have
he
been.
minded walked him out of the standing section at the end of the game to like get the applause and that after it.
Done that with Calvin Miller as well, but the problem with Calvin Miller is that he changed his position. He was
Yeah.
a striker, and then he changed.
Supposedly one of the most promising players that came through the academy, and
Right,
Rodgers tried to make him a left back.
That sounds like Rodgers.
It is just crazy how things work up here and with the youth. The youth system is deeply flawed with Celtic. It has been for a long time. We've had lengthy discussions on this podcast before. We can do it for years to come probably until there's evidence to suggest that the youth academy is providing. But if they're not there, it's not like we make these players in a lab. So it's really difficult, really. And if Bolland goes, he goes. I don't hold any malice or nothing.
He's
you know.
15 years old, fuck's sake, I'm not going
Right.
What the fuck you meant to
But
say?
you get the odd nutter who's like, oh, if I'm going to hit the door first chance and all that. Like, fucking
There's
Jesus
people getting annoyed that Doak was doing well. I mean,
Aye.
he's a 16-year-old playing in the first team for Liverpool.
Aye.
I
Wind
can't.
your neck in.
You can't get annoyed at that. He's doing something amazing.
Aye.
I mean,
I could
I hope
never.
he's doing all right by the way, because he had that collapse.
Well,
It's
No,
Youth
did he?
Clash, I think, wasn't that again in the
Did he know
UEFA
this?
Youth League?
Oh,
He's been doing really well, so I hope he does. I hope
Yeah.
he continues to do well.
Aye. It could have been me. If
I don't know if this was a topic that was getting discussed. We never discussed the run through before it, but on the topic of youth players and people come through the academy, Mikey Johnson,
Aye, the whole Ireland stuff and all that.
after he skint a couple of
world's best
Latvians, but
winger.
I think-
Do you know what I hate? This is what I hate, because every time this comes up, it makes me sound as if Mikey Johnson has done something to me.
No, I
It makes
don't-
me sound like a bitter man. I like Mikey Johnson. I would love him to do well, but people are like, well, what's
No, but I mean, like, a lot of the problem with Mikey Johnson was he had a lot of pressure on it to be amazing, and he skins a couple of Latvians, and then that pressure's right back on him, and he's been forgotten about all season.
Aye.
So, I mean, if he was to come back in the summer and prove himself,
fair
I'm more than happy.
Aye,
with
I'll
that,
take it.
but,
Aye.
Like, I just think people are getting very ahead of themselves with seeing the clips. He seemed to be doing some nice wee tricks in that in the game, and had a hand.
Aye,
in
but do you know
the
what
goal,
that's
but-
awful? Do you know what that gives me eerie similarities to? It's his first game for Ireland, right? Off to like, remember at the start of the 2018-19 campaign when he was on fire for the first few weeks.
1920.
1920. He was on fire for the first few
He got
weeks.
injured.
Then he got injured. Like, I'm not saying he's going to get injured for Ireland, but will that flame just kind of?
He set up Edward at Ibrox in
Yeah.
the 2-0 game. John
That's
Hughes
right.
scored in as well.
Aye.
Thing is, he's performing away for Celtic Park. I'm still yet to be convinced he can do it at Celtic
Yeah.
Park. I think it's a
I-
mental thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to put that on somebody but I think the crowd. He's one of these players that the crowd gets to him, and the crowd can get to anybody. And I really want to see him do well. But I think in the summer, I want to see him get a really, really good move. And just
Yeah.
progress
Look,
with his
I
career.
said at my podcast the other day. What's the point, Mikey Johnson? Even if he does stay, how's he getting in the team right now? Because he's no budging at Haksabanovic, Maida, or Jota out the side.
I think it's just down to luck again.
Once again,
That's
he would need a miracle for all three to be injured at the one time, I think.
I think-
And I think he would just be, for his own sake, pursue the footballing career and take it elsewhere.
See, we gave him a contract extension, did
Nah,
we
he's
not?
only here until 2026.
He triggered a year
I don't know if
extension
this
before
is
he left.
some bigger plan, to be fair, because putting him out on loan, it was not like they just put him on loan to Hibs
Yeah.
or something. Like they put him on loan to the Portuguese league, a sort of different thing. But I don't know if
See
it's
how it
got
goes.
shades of Jack Henry again.
Aye, got to extend.
If he goes away and gets a move, if he's good enough, he'll come back. I think
Aye.
if he's that good, then
We'll
we'll
see it in
sign him
Lennox,
back.
We'll see it
I
in
mean, that's
Lennox
the thing.
We'll see pre-season.
Aye.
I think pre-season will be telling.
I think it's too early to say anything about him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ange needs to gauge it, and then we'll see what happens. But it's just a position of strength that we can talk about this, because he was one of our main players 4 or 5 years ago when he was at the start of his career. But look at where he is now.
I think whatever Ange does, I think you have faith that it's the right call to make anyway.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I'll come to you in a minute if there's anything you would like to touch on before we move on to the last kind of couple segments. There will be no fixture changes for the King's coronation, so title parties will resume, and the
see
present
that
dates.
like I seen people saying about when he got the first game of the split. That's only mathematically possible if Rangers drop points out with even we need to win all 4 games. Rangers need to drop points in one of the other games for that to even be a mathematical possibility. Because if we were to win all our next 4 games, and if we did play them in the first game in the split, if we were to beat them, it would still be 12 points with 4 games left. It's pretty much in the bag, but mathematically, you're no champions.
Yeah, so down in the English Championship, they've already moved their fixtures to the Monday to accommodate the King's coronation. But up here, it doesn't look as though it's going to be the case.
Nobody cares apart from Rangers fans, let's be honest.
Yep.
Even then,
Have you seen the follow thread?
Aye.
I'd like to pretend that they care.
It's
I love
the
that. That's
pageantry.
This is their excuse this season, because last season it was we're on a European run, we don't care about the league. Now it'll be the King.
Oh, the King and the Queen croaked it, and the King's here. You know, that's a bit of an off-putter.
See bad things for the follow message boards that got posted on Twitter button. Like that. Some things are just bigger than football, man. So you're saying if you've got a season ticket at Ibrox and you're playing us that day, you're not gone.
Aye, exactly. We'll wait and see. Right, not much else on my agenda. Any topics that we've not spoke about that you would like to bring up before we move
Probably
on?
the Rangers employee headbutting on.
Oh no, that's right. There was a couple of things on my agenda because number one, we'll come to that in a moment. Number one, there's another derby this weekend. The B team will take on the Rangers B team at Ibrox
Sunday, isn't it?
on Sunday. Yes, so good luck to the B team and good luck to Darnell Day and Stephen McManus.
Absolutely.
Follow up hopefully on the success of the game at Celtic Park, which was good to be out, Kieran, apart from the weather. So hopefully they can repeat that same success. And the women's derby, of course, that happened on Monday. Celtic rescuing a point in the depths of hell right at the end of the game. 97th minute equaliser to keep us a 1 point clear of Rangers in the league. Still in second place.
I think it was 99th minute.
Was it 99th?
I
thought it was
It
97th.
was 97 minutes were given, but it was scored in the 99th minute. I think
okay.
there was maybe an injury.
Classic
Classics.
Well, pulling the strings
But
even in the
but
women's
the
league.
story of the game was that Rangers assistant manager Mr. Craig McPherson, I think his name is, decided to stick the heat on Fran Alonso.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I think it was doctored footage, you know.
Oh, right, yes, doctored footage. Sky, what do they like? What's Sky like? Can't take them anywhere.
That Tam Sellik's son. That AI's unreal these days, man.
So Craig McPherson sticks the heat on Fran Alonso. He's being charged by the police, I believe, for some form of aggravated assault or somewhat. Or assault of some form. Take it away, right?
I found it quite funny that Michael Beale said that this was an out of character incident, and then somebody found out that he was one of the ones that was squaring up to Neil Lennon when he was the Morton assistant manager along with Jim Duffy.
Aye.
So
for the famous modern managers want to take me a square goal.
aye, it's a bit weird.
Is that for that?
Aye, it's the same guys.
Jesus.
It's amazing what you find. These things are always
always come back
online.
to
It's
haunt
always
you,
got a digital footprint.
These are the things that dig you up in your job interviews.
But it's Michael Beale talking shit again, saying it is out of character. If he's done it before, I mean, granted, I'm quite surprised.
Michael Beale's not innocent himself. He tried to take John Kennedy a square goal at Celtic Park.
Other
3 years
Rangers
ago.
fans seem to love that video.
Oh, aye, when John Kennedy does it,
just stands there
flinch.
and he just gets dragged in the tunnel.
Aye.
Do you know Michael Beale, man?
The character, I'm beyond the point of. Listen, I've been on YouTube for 6-7 years or whatever now, and I've done my best to be unbiased, fair, everything I say. But I'm not even beyond the point of hiding now that there is fundamental issues within Rangers right now and over the past few years where moments like this are not surprising. They're not. It's embedded into their character because they're fucking losing all the time. And this is just another example of it. He sticks the heat on him when there's he's not been provoked. There's been no interrogation.
Stick the head on him
From behind.
Hasn't done anything.
Aye, so it's some laugh. It really
It was
it's
on his
not. It's very
birthday as
serious.
well. I don't know if he thought
Aye,
it was above the
aye.
law on his birthday. He
And
gets a hall pass because it's his birthday.
I mean, people wake up with the
birthday
fear for different
He
reasons.
woke up feeling dangerous, so he could headbutt a guy that's probably the same height as me, Fran Alonso.
Poor Fry's a lovely guy, you know,
Aye.
Fran. Really nice guy.
Do you know something? I hope he said something to him. I hope Fran has said something to him that's really annoyed him.
Like Zidane in the World Cup final.
Aye.
Aye.
But what was I going to say? I was going to say, you look at that. You look at the incidents that have happened at Ibrox as well.
Yeah.
I think more needs to be done because I think they're a bit of a dangerous club at the moment. I know they've always been, but
Scared of them, right?
if our fans aren't safe,
Yeah.
if our players aren't safe, because Joe Hart was getting glass
Yep,
chucked
that's
at
Right
him.
in the box.
The coaches,
Something's got to be
physios
done.
aren't safe.
But the media has nothing to say about this.
Aye.
It's move along, and the fact that Michael Beale is just shrugging it off.
Yeah.
The fact that he doesn't have an opinion on it is quite surprising because he has an opinion on everything else in the league.
Yeah.
It's quite
I'm
funny
always
that he's
cautious.
quiet.
I'm always cautious to kind of tie people in with things that they aren't directly involved in. It's obviously Michael Beale hasn't told him to do that. Michael Beale's not involved with the women's team. He has. I'm always cautious of suddenly tying people together, but the refusal to comment on it when he's got so much to comment on and other unrelated matters is quite surprising.
I think it's the first time he's pleaded the fifth in his Rangers career since he's had a hold of the microphone, you could say. So it's surprising, but not surprising at the same time.
Kieran, you got any thoughts before we move on?
It's no surprise at this point.
Yeah.
Angry wee men.
Right. We're ready to move on.
I think so.
Ready to move on. What do you want to do first? Twitter questions or quiz?
Twitter questions.
Twitter questions. We've got to go. Ryan, I've not got Twitter. So you can
Just
look
questions.
It up. In that time, Kieran, give us a rundown, mate, on the hospital scran.
Oh, it was shocking, right? But for the first couple of nights, I was like, this looks disgusting. But I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed a couple of the meals.
What was your highlight?
There was meatballs, peas, and mashed toddy.
Just sounds horrendous.
I've got the photos, man. But then,
if we could have got the camera and we could go to shove them up on screen
with
there.
tactical analysis on the.
You see, the mashed potato is just far too raw.
Wait, can you even see it? There's a TV screen here, by the way.
there's a
We're
screen,
not
we're
just
not
pointing
talking
to
to
that.
Who's the producer on the Joe Rogan podcast? You know the
Oh,
guy
I don't
that
know.
tells him to get it up.
Pull up Kieran's dinner. So Kieran, did you get through it okay then?
Aye, I mean it was alright. I was in Sunday, had the surgery Monday night, and then I was out Thursday. I think.
Aye.
Something like that.
Kieran, a wee warrior.
I know.
A very own hard man.
Wee
on the
winded
podcast.
soldier.
Aye, exactly.
Resident rebel.
Funnily enough, funny story, side story. I went down to I had to pick up Kieran's season ticket, and to give to one of our mates because Kieran obviously couldn't make the game. So I was speaking to Kieran's mother at the front door, and she said that she was glad to get rid of him.
Wow.
There you go. She wasn't even listening. Said your mum was glad to get rid of you, mate. fair play. No, she was missing you greatly. Right. Twitter questions, Ryan. I'll let you go. Match. Do you hear my chair squeak?
Aye, every single. I was wondering who it was that was squeaking.
I've put on the beef.
Before we do the Twitter questions, I'm going to ask you a question. How excited are you for WrestleMania this weekend?
Incredibly. I know there's not a lot. I know wrestling is a niche for a lot of people. A lot of people have their opinions on wrestling, Kieran included. But I am absolutely buzzing. I've been I'm in a kick recently with wrestling again. I'm going to Money in the Bank in July down in London, and also WrestleMania 40. I will be in attendance. I will be there. So this is the last WrestleMania that I will be watching from the TV screen for 2 years.
Wow.
So that's fun. So I'm
going to
buzzed.
one after as well?
No, I don't. Well, it was 2 years. That's 2 years away.
I get you now.
So no, I'm absolutely buzzing. I think it'll be a great show. It's obviously the first of Triple H's era, so that's exciting.
See that Vince is an employee. He's an actual official employee.
Yeah, he's back to oversee the sale of the company apparently. So they say, but the red flags are there anyway.
He's like the wrestling Lowell, isn't he?
Yes,
that's terrible considering what.
That's a good comparison.
I think
actually.
they would love each other, those two.
Oh,
I think we'll get on.
Mad for power. Mad for power.
Cody or Roman quickly.
Cody.
Good answer.
Absolutely Cody. But I wouldn't be stunned if Roman wins.
As long as they're both put over, that's it. You know.
Who you got, Kieran?
Whoever the script says is going to win.
Fair enough.
Right, okay. Twitter questions, let's go.
So Charlie asks, if Abada was to leave in the summer, would we be looking at a new replacement, or would you be happy enough with the players already here?
Somebody will come in.
I think there probably will be a signing, and we're talking about Mikey Johnson, and I think there will be a.
I don't think they're going to
replacement.
No. I don't think that Celtic would let a player of such quality leave without bringing in depth to fill in.
I think you've got to look at Abada's numbers in terms of goals and assists, what you would be taking out of the team if he was to go. I think he will go in the summer.
Yes,
but it's just with all the murmurings, I think it's silly for him to go as well in the summer because I don't think he's that player. But
ignore me. The camera will be thinking, what have I done there? I just gave myself cramp in my left foot. Keep going.
You've done that sort of back through the leg. Yeah, I get you.
Yep.
But I think he's taking a massive gamble if he was to leave in the summer because I don't think he's that player yet. I think he would.
I think another season would do him good at Celtic.
Absolutely.
It would, absolutely.
Because he's not even a first choice starter yet, I wouldn't say.
I think it's weird because he was. And
he's in and out though.
You know, it's just I think it's hard to dub any of the attackers apart from maybe Kyogo starters because we just rotate so often.
I know.
So I don't think
it's just
anybody
been a victim of the rotation, to be honest.
But I think we'll bring
Started
in
a lot more last season, but I don't even
Yeah.
think that was the plan last season. It was just because we were so
scarce.
scarce in positions. But it's one of these things. We'll talk about it more probably in the pre-season. What goal did you celebrate?
Hold on, just a moment. Just a moment. I've peered to McGinley's monitor, and there is a live space going on just now called "Chicks with Dicks Shouldn't Have Guns"
From Baby Jota.
From Baby Jota. What in the world is that?
Christ.
And there is 10 people.
10 people listening to Chicks with Dicks.
He's
Shouldn't Have
he's
Guns.
always doing these, and he's got about 1 or 2 people in them. Like, mate,
Fair enough. Commitment.
touch some grass, mate. Know what I mean?
Right. Second question.
Anthony, always commenting. Thank you.
Yes.
What positions do you think Celtic will be looking at in the summer? And is there any player in particular you would like to see sign for the club?
Kieran, I'll let you start.
I don't know, because I feel like we're pretty strong across the park. Like, I think it will be a case of who leaves to decide the position. But I think with the recruitment with us, it's like you don't know who's coming in. Like, we're not going to just sign somebody for the league. It's not like there's no like any standout players, because I feel like even in the past that's like who you would go to. You say, oh, like they've been the best for one of our teams, probably go for him. But there's nobody in the league that stands out that you would go for.
No.
Like, I've seen a lot of debate about if there was to be like one player you sign for the other teams, who would it be? But even then, I struggle to get an answer. I really struggle to get an answer.
I really
I
struggle.
think with the Japanese market now, I think we've seen that there is better quality out there for cheaper, because you've got to imagine now that Scottish players will now have higher values thanks to the success of Ferguson, Hickey, Doig, etc.
I mean, I think other teams, rightly so, they're allowed to value their players higher, because I mean, I complain when they let players go for peanuts down south and that. So I mean, they're well within their rights to do it. But I don't think there's MD in my head that I could say I were going to sign them. I just think we're sort of not in the dark about the recruitment, but like not in a bad way. But like we've sort of entrusted Ange, and like he gets who he wants, and we just sort of gave him the faith now that we've seen all these players come in that we never heard of, and they've been instant impact.
That was just a quick thing I was going to mention. We've got a couple of new scouts as well.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Which is really exciting, I would say.
Yeah.
Having sort of new faces in there.
Fresh ideas. And they can't complain.
I think we're going to have more South American players next season. I've got a funny feeling that's
I would love there to be a South American success story sometime soon, because there's been none. There's been 3 South Americans or something that's played for Celtic that I can.
Laxalt.
4 maybe Laxalt. There's been Bernabé obviously now. Raphael Scheidt. That's the only 3 that genuinely come to head, and all 3 have not delivered.
I don't want
I'm
that to deter us though.
I'm not going to write Bernabé off yet, but he's obviously not started in the greatest of steads. So
Mark Lawwell's speciality, though, that was what was talked about, was South America.
Yeah.
So I would love to see us get a South American goalkeeper before a team like Benfica or Porto pick them up, and then you just can't afford them anymore. We need to find somebody that's maybe 23, 24 that can play with the ball at his feet. That's what I would absolutely love to see.
I want a Polish keeper personally.
I
want a whole.
Boris is gone now. Come on.
Listen, he played in the charity.
Boris' cousins.
We'd get a fucking Zoska instead of a boy.
What about that? Do you know how I want to see you sign Magic Zarafsky? That boy that scored the creamer there goal. Like, it was unbelievable. And I used creamer because, my God, his name's exact same spelling. Magic Zarafsky. Unbelievable, mate.
Regen.
Aye, it's like genuinely, it's back for the dead. Anyway, right, next question.
Is he dead to you, eh?
I thought you were dead.
That's like that Margaret Thatcher Twitter account that keeps on.
Right, next question.
So, Mac, I was going to answer this one earlier on, but what goal did you celebrate the most so far this season?
I actually seen that question. I was trying to think about it.
That's a hard one. Probably.
Why the cup final goals?
I was about to say probably the first goal in the cup final.
Aye.
Maybe the second. Can't remember what one I celebrated more. Both equally.
Probably the second, but there's goals that have been big in terms of magnitude, but in terms of actual individual goals, I've really celebrated Haksabanović's 2 goals because I've been desperate to see him in the team.
I always get a wee extra, when he scores. So.
Or any of Hatate's goals, but they're just my favourite players. So,
I mean, see, to be honest, why the realistic in terms of like actual like last minute winner at home anyway was Dundee United when they won 4-4. But when it went 3-2, maybe that as well as the cup final. I'm trying to think of another example.
That's a good one.
Probably, actually, I'm going to change mine. Jota's goal against Rangers, the chip.
That was sublime.
That
Make
was
it
just
2-0.
Nice. Right, next question. Let's rapid fire.
Robbie McDonald, the guy we're talking
That's a
about.
boy for uni.
What is Kieranald's favourite version of Penny Arcade?
Is there a story to this?
I know, it's because in uni we'll talk about like songs for other teams that are objectively a tune.
Yes.
And we'll talk about
I've got no
as long
shame.
as it's the Roy Orbison version and know whatever shite they play at Ibrox.
I know, I can't believe they don't even play the Big O's version. Like, what's that about? Play Roy. Well, I
You
mean,
said
that-
Big O, and I'm thinking of a striker now.
That's me and my dad have started
The Big O.
calling him the Big O. Like,
That one doesn't like Penny Arcade doesn't uck me as much as Simply the Best does.
oh, aye.
I think Simply the Best is just a shite song.
I don't like Simply
It's
the
just
Best. It's
nothing
very
good about
cringy,
it.
innit? It's just
Tina Turner.
But the Penny Arcade is, I won't admit it, but it is a bit of a tune.
Admit it, but you will.
Right, next one.
Canvas Lang Steve says, should we bring back Bobo to protect staff and players?
Absolutely. Get him in the
Just
dugout.
on security.
Aye. Get him back.
Aryan asks, is there anyone in the squad who you would have thought to see more from or had a slightly disappointing season? See, in terms of me, and I know I'm asking the questions, but I'm just going to give an answer. Despite him having, 10, 11 assists this season, I thought Matt O'Reilly was really going to push on this season. I think maybe he's a victim because he was playing as the defensive midfielder in Cal McGregor's absence for 2 months, and he did do well in that role, but I'd like to see more. But I know that there's a performance in there. It's coming. You just need to give it time.
I mean, he finally got the goal this season, didn't he, against St Mirren?
Seen the shoulders just drop completely, or the easing of the shoulders.
So I feel like that has been. I feel like Sky were the helmet every time we were on the telly. They're like going on about how.
same graphic.
But has he scored in the league yet? Is it that graphic still gone?
I scored at Smyrna.
Nah, so he did.
Aye. I would. This is through no fault of his own, but and it's not the same kind of disappointment or anything like that. But one player I felt bad for because they haven't been able to kick on is Tony Ralston, because of the amount of injury, the amount of time he spent out injured. So I've been gutted for him.
He had a big part to play last season.
Yeah.
I think he could have played a decent role this year, but I mean, I think it was pretty clear he wasn't going to be the starter.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but-
It's just a shame that he's not managed to get that many minutes because of injuries. So
He's also aware of our existence as well.
all right, Tony, how you doing?
I think the biggest compliment you could pay to Alistair Johnson is that nobody really has that debate anymore on whether or not or who's playing at right back.
Yeah.
That is now Alistair Johnson's position, and it wasn't
Has to lose.
for Juranovic. There was always that question, I think, from a section of the support that should it be Ralston that's maybe playing? Maybe Ralston's a better fit, but I think Johnson, by all accounts for me, he's an upgrade. He fits the team better. He's getting better and better every game, which is really, really good. Goal of the season so far, Arsenal.
I think I'll go with Jota's.
We'll come back to it
Man,
because I'd probably go with Jotas as well.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to that.
Do you
at some
think
point.
we'll
Thanks
beat-
for the question.
Do you think we'll beat our points record from the Invincible season?
What was the points? 106. We could.
It's possible. I'm not going to get ahead of myself.
Nah,
and say
we'll wait
that.
and see. That's what I'll say.
James asks, do you think Daisen Maeda has a solar charge feature when he's running low on energy?
It must. It's either that. It's
Duracell.
just got
He's a
unlimited
Duracell bunny.
batteries. Aye.
What happened to Ryan's Twitter, and why would Ryan not take a snus before the Real Madrid game? Asks Ad the lad.
Was that when I met Adam?
Aye,
must
it
have
was
done.
in
Did he offer me a snus?
It was in the Celtic club, I remember it. Aye.
Aye. I don't know why I did take one, to be honest. Just think I couldn't be bothered. I had my fags, I was
sick.
I had my source of nicotine. I was fine. I don't know. I probably just didn't fancy it at the time. I've not had a snus now. I've not had a snus since like
Not
sort
one
of
since the last time.
2 or
man.
3 years, I think. So it's just.
Lenny's not sorting you out anymore.
Aye, Lenny's away. So, can't have it.
David Turnbull asks, best David Bowie song?
Oh, that's a good question.
Generally.
I've always liked Rebel Rebel, but I don't know if I'd say it's my favourite.
I'm doing kidding when I say I don't think I could name more than one David Bowie song.
Oh, plenty.
I think for me it's
Bowie
Ziggy
songs.
No,
Stardust.
but I've
I
heard
love
them,
Ziggy
but
Stardust.
I've heard them, but I don't know the names of them.
Oh, I like Ashes
Life on
to Ashes to
Mars,
Ashes is
Days
good.
Odyssey.
I've always loved Let's Dance. That's a good
I
song.
like that as well. Under Pressure.
That's technically a Queen song, isn't it, though? But he's still, I suppose.
Genie's a tune as well.
Oh my God, there's so many. I don't know what one.
Mine's is Ziggy Stardust because that's Guitar Hero 1 for me.
I also love Space Oddity. Like, that's a good song. I think mine's has always been Let's Dance, though. I think Let's Dance would probably be mine. I do like
class,
Let's
innit?
Dance.
It's a
Aye,
great song.
aye. So that would be mine.
And finally, Jacob asks, do you think they'll let us win the league at Ibrox?
I think it'll get played first game of the split.
Aye, more likely. So wait and see. Once again, another wait and see, I think.
I think it's going to happen. The league's going to happen. Just allow it.
Aye.
Allow it whenever it does.
In front of a non-Celtic crowd. Or no Celtic crowd, I should say. Right.
Either way, I'll be celebrating.
Yeah. Right, okay, it's time to end the show. Kieran, can you make out how long we've went? Can you see the number?
We've went for one of 5 minutes.
Oh my God, we better hurry up because the camera's not got long left on live and I do not want to lose any footage. So we're going to go through this rapid. Kieran, you're first back. You're back, so I'm going to let you choose.
Set B.
Set B. Right, he's going for set B. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Right, okay. Ryan McGinley, who assisted the goal at Ibrox, which led to the iconic Bruni celebration. I said quick.
Commons.
No. Kieran, do you know?
Forest.
Mark Wilson. There you go.
One of
So
those ones, if you know, you know.
advantage Kieran Auld. How much did Celtic pay for Mikael Lustig?
800,000.
No. Right.
500,000.
Not a penny.
Free transfer.
Free. Arguably our best free transfer ever. Up for debate, as he says. However, I must say, I forgot to
said
admit,
I'm away after half a season.
I must admit, I forgot that I even mentioned this quiz following the announcement of their homecoming show in May. Today's full-time quiz centres around Mikael Lustig and Scott Brown. So that's the whole.
be great.
That's so. Sorry for
Maybe
I
get a
forgot to
ticket
mention
for
that, Kieran. Thank you as always. You're a great honour, but we're just kind of rushing along here. Question 2 for you, Ryan McGinley. True or false? Mikael Lustig has over 90 caps for the Swedish national team.
False.
It's true.
Is it?
94
I
caps.
went false as well.
94 caps with 6 goals. There you go. So
They've had some decent fullbacks as well, so he's done well.
once again, advantage Kieran Auld. Which team did Scott Brown score his last ever goal for Celtic against in the COVID season?
Livingston.
No. Right? Do you know it? I'm not letting you answer.
Nah.
Kilmarnock. It was a 4-0 win at Rugby Park.
Ayeti scored that. as well.
I just went for Livingston because we beat them, 6-0.
Aye, that was the game John Joe Kenny hoofed the ball 50 yards back to his own goal.
That was
thought that
against
was
Rangers.
So, was it?
And then Morella scored for the subsequent corner.
He's just wrote Kilmarnock 4-0 at Rugby Park on John Joe hoofed the ball 50
I mean, he
yards.
probably done it again, to be fair.
Aye,
He actually had a good game.
So unless he means,
That-
I've probably
I'm sure he get man of the match. I
Right,
think.
anyway.
That was his debut.
Right, question 3, McGinley. Can we finally get one right here in regards to
We'll
two
try,
club
we'll try.
legends? How many trophies in total did Scott Brown win as a Celtic player? And then, hold on, I've got big fucking brackets here saying let player B answer their question so they don't get a... Oh, right. Well, doesn't matter now, so on you go. Sorry, Kieran, we're rushing this, I said.
18.
No, you're way off. Kieran, do you know it?
26.
22. They threw this number about rapid.
I was
Yeah,
way
it's
off.
2 years
That's
ago, man.
basically just a season I missed
You
out.
didn't even hit 20. Terrible. Player B, which is Kieran. How many trophies did Mikael Lustig win as a Celtic player?
18.
Closer than what Ryan was. 16.
It's the same answer.
16. How's it the same answer?
Aye, because
He
I
was
said
2
that.
half, you were
No,
4
no,
half.
no.
Aye,
Whatever.
right. Mate, question 4, we've not got one fucking right.
It's a
Shooting blanks.
shambles, man.
Shooting blanks here.
Jesus. Right, Ryan McGinley, you can keep your business to yourself. Mikael Lustig scored a famous goal in our 5-1 pumping of the Lana Wolves at Ibrox. Who gave the ball away to him? Who gave the ball?
Tavernier. I don't know.
Is
it?
Aye, it is James Tavernier because the answer
Sure.
he's got
Perennial fucking
he's got
loser.
here running down the wingy wing. So there you go. Tavernier's
Hall of
correct.
Famer.
Yes, right, Kieran, you need this to make it 1-0, mate. True or false? Scott Brown has over 60 caps for Scotland.
False.
Correct.
55.
55. Well,
Staunch number for a
staunch number. Yeah, right. Okay, it's the final questions, which means we might need a tiebreaker. Who knows? Ryan, Scott Brown and Mikael Lustig both scored the Scottish Cup away tie to Hearts back in 2013. How many goals did Celtic put past Hearts that day?
Is it 7?
It was 7-0. Brown got 2, Lustig got 1, Commons got a hat trick, and Joe Ledley got the
That
other.
was an almighty pumping. That
Yes,
night.
it was. And Kieran, you need this to take it to the tiebreaker. In the last 2 League Cup finals against Hibs, both Scott Brown and Mikael Lustig scored doubles as Celtic progressed to the finals. How many goals overall did Celtic score between both semi-finals?
9.
It's correct. Well done. 4-2 in
Just can't let me
2017
win, can he?
and 5-2 in 2019. So well
I
done, which
remember.
means we are on the tiebreaker question. Who can get the closest? And Kieran, you will get the first chance to answer. Kieran, how much combined competitive goals did Scott Brown and Mikael Lustig score for Celtic? How many? If you want to combine them.
I'll go 70.
Right, okay. Ryan?
No, wait, no. It's too high. No, it's far too high. I've just remembered after I said that the figure that he scored for Celtic.
I'm
Oh,
gonna go
wow.
about like 32 or something.
Wow. Kieran Auld. You were only 3 off, mate.
Was it?
67 is the correct answer.
Really?
Because
So-
Brown got like 44 or something,
It's
did he not?
triumphant return. Scott Brown got 46
46.
and Mikael Lustig got 21. So well done,
I suppose he
Kieran
was
Auld.
taking penalties as well,
A
wasn't he?
triumphant
And
return. Well done. Well
looks
done.
like that header against was it Aberdeen?
Somebody.
Unbelievable.
Right, that brings us to the end of our return show. Hopefully we'll be back to preview the derby again. So
Maybe a four-person.
get your notepads out with it. Oh, you can never tell how a derby's going. It's on the
It's
day.
who wants it more on the day and whatnot. Get
Thumbs
ready
out
for
the
some of that
window.
next week.
So but
We
join
need
us.
that. We need that exploding. Have you ever seen the exploding heads people? And in fact, it's not them. It's somebody else. But they've got all the managers talking about the same cliches, and every manager
Aye.
says it.
It's your
Aye,
potential
aye.
banana skin.
Aye. It's the worst score in football. Aye. It's the worst score. Trickiest score.
2-0's the
Two-
most difficult.
Aye, that's it.
Toughest lead.
Right, okay. Thanks everybody. We'll see you next week. Kieran, thanks. Ryan, thanks. Cheerio.
Cheers.